Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I have these 20-inch Raise Homura 2X9s for the wife's Mazda. These are going on a 2019 Mazda CX-5, that's our family car. And of course, if you know me, Raise wheels have to go on every single thing I own. And to keep the wife happy, you gotta pimp out the ride and get some better wheels than stock. Now, I've skipped the entire process of chemical stripping, curb rash repair, and the blasting. And no, she didn't curb rash all of them. I curb rashed one of them because those school parking lots and the school zones can get pretty tight when everyone's trying to parallel park. But these are all repaired. The rash was minor. I didn't see any need to show you getting to this point. These are actually going in a two-tone finish, which they originally were two-toned. We're doing the exact same thing, but I'm changing out the gold, bronzy color to a metallic gold on these. So I'm gonna show you the process of what I do to get these two-tone finishes. We're gonna highlight a couple things like the outer lip, just so that it separates the tire and the wheel, because the wheel is going gloss black. The Raise little logo down here, we're gonna accent that with the gold color just to match in. And I'm gonna spray this off with a metallic clear coat just to give it some sparkle, some definition, and make it just look a little prettier than a straight gloss black. So I'm gonna fire up the oven, I'm gonna get the gold loaded into the gun. Let's get going. And immediately there is a change of plans. So right now the oven is on behind me. You can probably hear that. I'm probably talking a bit louder to compensate. But the plan here was to actually fully coat the wheel in gold. So that's gonna act as if it's my primer. That's gonna give a nice solid base for the black to sit on top of, because these are gonna be going in a gloss black with a gold pinstripe around the outside and the gold Raise logo. So instead of using a primer as my base, the reason using a primer is all of these edges right here on the edges of the spokes are very sharp edges. Now, if you're a powder coater, you know if you're gonna do this in gloss black, you're gonna get edge pull, which is essentially, you're gonna see all these sharp edges because powder runs away from a sharp edge and it looks somewhat transparent, and all these edges will look a bit brownish, maybe a bit gray. So the plan was to fully coat this wheel in gold to act as my primer. It's gonna help fill all these edges, kind of give it some thickness. That way, when I put the black on top, it's not gonna edge pull as bad and you won't see this as bad. Now, I don't have enough of the gold to fully coat this wheel. Maybe enough just to do the faces, but I don't want to put black straight over the outer barrel or black on the inside without a primer base. So the plan now is gonna be fully epoxy primering these wheels, which isn't necessary. You don't have to do this on every wheel. This is gonna get an epoxy primer, then I'm gonna be doing the gold and then the black. Step one is complete. These are in primer. Dry Protector Primer from Tiger Dry Lac. This stuff is absolutely amazing. No matter how thick or thin you seem to put this on, it always bakes out smooth as glass every single time. I've gone over these, I've given them an inspection with a flashlight. The best way to check for dust nibs or any outgassing bubbles, any lint, hair, whatever it may be that has got into or onto the finish and you want to give it a quick little sand out before the next coat, the best thing to do is to turn off all the lights in the shop and then use a flashlight shining it up so that it creates an obvious shadow. I've got LED lights all over here like crazy. Sometimes that will actually hide all the imperfections because it doesn't create any shadows having all these different light sources from all different directions. So if you actually turn off all your lights, shine a flashlight and inspect it really thoroughly, you'll find those imperfections like crazy. So now that they've cooled down, the next thing I'm gonna do is actually get the gold, which I thought I was gonna start with. I'm just gonna hit the outside and obviously this Raise logo right here, put them back into the oven for a partial cure, about 360 degrees. I wanna make sure that the gold is nice and set before I would do any wiping on it once I apply the black. So let's get to coating these gold and get them back in the oven. All right, so obviously you saw that I sprayed the gloss black. There's a couple things I like to do before I start to two-tone. Firstly is to blow off all the hooks and the rack because I'm gonna be using my hand to steady it up here and I don't want powder to fall onto the barrel or potentially down onto the front. Second thing I've done is vacuum off the back pad and center bore. I wanna get all this stuff done so that the absolute last thing to do is the actual two-toning itself. And the other thing that I like to do is to let all the dust or the spray settle in the air to make sure that nothing's floating around so that when I do vacuum, there's not stuff floating around in the air that's gonna be attracted back to the wheel. Now, I'm gonna be using the same vacuum tip. I believe I have it here in my pocket. I'm gonna be using this, I call this the spade. I don't know if that's actually what it's called, but I use this V spade looking tip to get the outer lip. I'm gonna give that a once over. Another thing I like to do when doing two-tone like this, start from the bottom and work your way up. That way, when powder collects onto it, it vacuums it up. If you drag this way, if the vacuum, say, isn't as strong as you think it is, the filter's plugged up, you're moving too fast, you're gonna end up pushing powder down more than you are vacuuming it up. So I always go from the bottom up. That way, nothing falls and lands on the inner lip of the wheel or on the face, and you get little chunks and blobs in the finish once it's fully cured. With the Raise here on the little lettering in between the spoke, I'm actually just gonna use my finger and wipe that. I don't wanna pull powder from around it. I also don't wanna pull powder from inside of it because it's actually got a hollow middle to it. So I'm just gonna use my finger to wipe that, and then once all the vacuuming's done, I'm just gonna use my thumb just to make sure it's extra clean, give it an inspection with a light to make sure all the black is off. This can go into the oven for a partial cure once again, and then clear coat it after. So let's get to vacuuming. With the wheels complete, I have now wrapped these in a brand new Kumo Krugen HB71 tire. I went with a little bit of a bigger sidewall than I did last time. These are a 245 50/20. Last year when I originally refinished the wheels, I did a bit of the wrong size. I did a 245 45/20. It rode a little bit too stiff. Now, the reason that these are gloss black, the windows on the car are gloss black. We've blacked out all the trim. The wife just loves them in black, but we did the little gold pinstripe around the outside just to separate the look of the wheel from the tire. This is actually how these wheels came from factory. They came in a gloss black with actually a machined lip on the outside, but we just wanted to change it up a little bit, add a little bit of color, and I think it looks really nice, especially the gold pops a little bit more than the bronzy copper that I did last time. The gold sparkle looks absolutely amazing. And I finished it off with brand new raised valve stem caps and of course brand new tires. So I'm going to slap these on the car. I'll show you what it looks like, and hopefully these are going to ride a little bit nicer. Hopefully you gain some knowledge when it comes to two-tone powder coating. It really is just that simple, especially when you have the right tools and a steady hand. Or you gain some inspiration. Instead of doing your wheels just a boring black, next time you might add a colored pinstripe just to separate the look of the black wheel from the black tire. Now I gotta load 4 of these heavy things up, get them over to my dad's shop and on the car. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next project.